Okay, guys, so I am here. We are back and we are going to get started. So, just first things first, just a couple of housekeeping things. New member orientation is happening every single week. Anybody that you are bringing on needs to be in new member orientation, right? Because we don't have to all do the same thing. That is the power of having a team and having a system. You have amazing leaders that are doing new member orientation twice a week, every single week, unless posted that it is canceled. That does not mean for you not to check in with your new team members, new traders. Remember, the key is following the rule of 72. You absolutely want to make sure that people are set up and in a position to enter trades once the week begins. So it's great when people get started towards the end of the week, Thursday, Friday. You have that weekend to really get them set up. I'm not saying not to enroll them any other day of the week, but you have that time to make sure that you've talked with them, that you're getting their goals, because you need to know what people are expecting out of learning to trade. Why? Because if you don't know what they're expecting, you can expect them to quit. You absolutely need to know what people's goals are, right? The first goal, of course, is to make sure that people don't feel like their tuition is another bill to their household, right? That's why we focus on the rule of 72. You want people making money so that if all else fails, they've made enough to cover that tuition. Because if they can afford it, they will continue to learn. As you continue to learn and earn and grow, that monthly tuition will be a non-factor. So, again, of course, rule of 72, getting the person enrolled and opening their brokerage account, teaching them how to enter and exit a trade, and follow the steps to be added to the Push 1000 group to be able to receive the signals from Dr. Spiller and our other master traders on his team. Secondly, that was like a 1 and 1.5 there. Secondly, make sure that you're aware of your back office. We know that there have been different credit card processing issues, so you may or may not be active yourself. So you want to stay on top of that. If you know that your subscription is due on the 15th of every month, set yourself an alert on your phone to go check and make sure that your subscription is active if you don't have alert that you've had this transaction. To not do those really basic things, to kind of let them go. Like, I'm guilty. I've done it before and not checked and realized, oh, I forgot I changed the card and the card didn't go through. So it's really easy to overlook those small things, but small things usually cause bigger problems, right? So if you're not active, you could potentially be removed from the Push 1000 group, right? You're not getting your residuals if you receive those, if your IBO and your tuition have not been paid. Just little things that aren't really pleasant. And the thing about it is, IML really can't do anything about it if you've missed commissions and it's because you did not pay your bill. You did not pay your tuition. So definitely something else that is very, very important to take care of. Lastly, I know I may be beating it like a dead horse, but if you or anybody on your team still needs tickets for Miami, you need to reach out to me or Quinn or Robert and let us know. I'm only saying that to say, if we have a group of 10 people who are ready to go, we can go ahead and buy that bulk amount of tickets. Now, it's totally fine if you buy a ticket on your own. Nothing against that. But I'm all about saving money. If you're making money and spending it all, then we still have no money. Okay? So I just wanted to put that back out there. So please send me a message. You can send it personally. You can send it in the group. Maybe if some people see that other people are already ready to buy, they will go ahead and we can get the tickets. I already have a ticket. Quinn has a ticket. Robert has a ticket. Some other people already have tickets. But we want to make sure that we're doing things as a unit, as a team, right? Cohesively. If you hopped on earlier this morning, you heard Quinn talking about the acronym that David gave them for team. Okay, and I mean, one that we all should know is together everyone achieves more. So we absolutely want to move as so now that those I'm sorry guys. Now that we've taken care of those health things, we are going to jump right into some training. Hooray. You guys, I shouldn't say I'm parking. My mom is parking because I definitely wouldn't be able to look at this screen and drive at the same time. But as I am transitioning upstairs, um, hopefully I won't lose you guys. But we are going to be talking about trading the news and trading the London breakout. That will be our topics for tonight, as well as any other questions you guys may have for me. Give me just half a second to get my purse and stand up out the car, and then I will proceed. This is being recorded, Devondre. Yes, it is. So we will start with the London breakout. Um, I guess everybody is all over. I was going to say, is everybody on Central Time or Eastern Time? But I will just give you the parameters, and you can adjust the time to your correct time zone. So the London breakout strategy was originally made just to trade GBP USD. But we have found that you can trade pretty much every pound pair during that London breakout session, pending any other news for any other pair, any other currency that may cause your trade to act erroneously. So what you want to do, you don't have to stay up all night. You can get up about 15 minutes beforehand. I recommend, if you are on Eastern time, getting up at 2:45, which is 1:45 Central. Okay, and taking a look at the chart, you want to see what has occurred during the Asian session. You want to take the last three candles, and you guys, as soon as I get to the computer, I will put it up on the screen. The last three candles on the hour chart. Please do not attempt to trade the London breakout on anything higher or lower than the 1 hour chart. You want to look at the last three candles. So it'll be 11, 12, 10, 11, No, excuse me, 11, 12, and 1 o'clock. Central Standard Time. 11, 12, 1. Yeah. Or 12, 1, and 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. You want to set your parameters 10 pips above and 10 pips below the lowest wick on any of those three candles. I'm transitioning to the computer, but can you guys hear me again now? I was in the elevator. Okay, perfect. So let me just go back. Could everybody hear what I was saying about the London breakout? Because if not, I'll go back over it. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Tiffany. Okay, so again, you are on the 1 hour chart. You're going to be 10 pips above and 10 pips below. That is safe. That is very safe, conservative. Some people will do 10 above for the buy and 5 below on the sell. But with so much news happening and a lot of speculation going on, especially after these G7 meetings, I prefer people to be conservative, right? If you're going to be risky, then you need stop loss just in case it's just a bounce. 10 pips above, 10 pips below. That's 3 o'clock Eastern, 2 o'clock Central. That's when you're close. You're going to take a look at your chart 15 minutes before. You're going to take a look at the chart 15 minutes before so you have some idea of what the market has been doing. Now, do not, I repeat, do not Emma. Okay, 1 second, CJ. Do not attempt to do traditional London breakout when you see that there is a red GBP folder on the calendar for 4:30. It will hurt your feelings. It will hurt your feelings. Okay, because those news events, and Tiffany can attest to it, will cause you either a great amount of profit or a great amount of heartbreak, and it can happen in 1 minute, 60 seconds. There is no way for you to have a complete inside angle to the news. So it can definitely cause you to have a London breakout. We actually saw that happen. I believe that was Tuesday, Wednesday night, Euro NZD and GBP NZD. And they went in the opposite direction because there was pound news coming out. It's not familiar with where to get the news from. Y'all can unmute yourself or type in the chat. Everybody, it's everybody. Tina, I have not started sharing the screen yet. I was actually transitioning from the car to inside my house. Okay. Okay, awesome. So nobody answered me if they knew where to get the news from. I was looking for either the website or a yes or no. Can you guys still hear me? Yes. Thank you, Tiffany and Devondre. Yes. So Forex Factory. Forex Factory is where you are going to get all of your news. And I'm going to show you as soon as this computer gets itself together how to filter and modify your screen there on Forex Factory. You can also use investing.com. And I will say I always trade red folders. I don't always trade orange or yellow or gray folders. So red folders are high impact news. Orange folders are considered medium impact news, and yellow folders are considered low impact news. Now, I would be lying to you if I said that was always the truth. There are times when orange folders and yellow folders cause just as much movement as red folders. It typically happens on an orange folder if that is one of the speakers for one of the leading countries. So if it's the Euro, if it's Mario Draghi, his folder is usually always red. But there are times that President Trump's folders are orange. There are times that Australian speakers or federal chairs folders are orange, but they still cause very significant movement in the market. So you want to have taken a nice overview of what's happening day to day, but know that you can now with risk, it moves very fast. You can trade red folders and really scatter the market and get some significant tips and profits off of those. Let's see if it's gonna work. Guys, one second. I don't know why the computer is really doing a lot. Let's see. Give me 1 second, guys. I know it's giving you a feedback. Okay, beautiful. All right, still having some feedback. Hold on 1 second, guys. Okay, guys, I think we have it. Let me know if A, you can hear me, and B, you're not getting the feedback. Emma. 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 Awesome. So excited. Fantastic. So I just want to show you some features here on Forex Factory that can be really beneficial to you and your trading. So as you can see, oh, okay. Mhm. As you can see, we have this G7 meeting going on today. So what does that mean? Expect some gaps in the market on Sunday. There's news happening. It started yesterday. There was news happening yesterday and today that can significantly affect all currency pairs that we don't have privy to right now. So there may be a whole bunch of gaps in the market tomorrow. Now, you see Sunday, AUD, it has a gray folder for a bank holiday. Just means they're closed, nothing really exciting. But then it shows you a number of yellow folders. Manufacturing sales, core machinery, a couple other things you see there for the yen. Just to note, CNY is Chinese news, but Chinese news does oftentimes affect Japan. So most of these really won't cause too much movement, but you see fresh out Monday morning at 4:30 a.m. There's a high impact red folder for GBP as well as a medium and two low impact folders. Do not, I beg of you, please do not enter your traditional London breakout on that day. Do a news buy stop and sell stop order. How do you trade the news? Similar to London breakout, you're still using a buy stop and a sell stop. However, you are doing it much closer to the time of the news event. So literally, you're placing your orders 5 minutes before the event occurs. No more than 5 minutes and no less than 1 minute. And at 1 minute, you kind of plan it really close because it can start to spike before you finish setting your orders. The spreads will always increase for news events. So please be mindful of that. So I believe I posted the other day in the group. Sometimes you're going for 10 pips and it hit your take profit and you end up with $8.80 instead of $10 if you were going for $1 per pip. Why? Because you have to remember that the spread has changed, so the broker's fee has changed. Okay, so you may want to go for 12 pips to really get the $10 you were looking for, or the $1 you were looking for if you're doing a 0.01 lot size. So both activities are buy stops and sell stops. Is everybody familiar or comfortable with placing buy stops and sell stops? Can everybody still hear me? Okay. Do we understand the true difference between a buy stop versus a buy limit or a sell stop versus a sell limit? Because I can give a really quick analogy that'll hopefully clear it up for everybody. Right. Absolutely. Okay, so let me give you this great analogy. So you stops and limits the same way that you would look at driving every day. I think everybody here drives, or at least you have driven at some point. Leave your house to go to the store, right? You usually make sure you have your phone, your purse, your address, and maybe you have something to return. Okay, so you go down, you get in the car, you drive out of your driveway, you turn left, you get to the stop sign. Okay. When you get to that stop sign, if you stop at the stop sign, you look to your right in your passenger seat, and you're like, "Oh man, and you have the phone and the keys and everything else you need. You stopped at the stop sign because that's the law, but then you continued in the door going. That's the same way a buy stop or a sell stop works. It means that price is coming down. It's on its way down. Okay. And when it gets to that number that you placed, let's use 1.92000 for the purpose of this activity. So price right now is at 1.92150. and price is coming down, coming down, coming down, coming down. Price is going to get to 1.92000. It's going to stop there. It's going to look left. It's going to say, we have orders to collect here. Activate the order and let's keep going. And they'll keep coming down, keep coming down. You are now in your sell. Now, same example. We're at the stop sign. We've gone down the street to the stop sign. We look over to the passenger seat and we don't have our cell phone. We say, oh no, we don't have our phone and the store is in the other direction. We are going to make a U-turn to go back the other way, collect our cell phone, and head to the store. That is the same way your sell limit or your buy limit works. It actually has to go to that point and make a U-turn. It's going to go up there. It essentially is touching it twice. It's going to go through it and turn around. It's going to say, oh shoot, wrong way. Got to go back. Okay. So limits require 2 touches. Stops require 1. Does that help? Yes. Yes. I love Kim. Kim is awesome. Yeah, no, I would say 2 minutes. I'm only saying 2 minutes if you're doing both. So let's say you're going to enter a buy stop and a sell stop. If you wait till 1 minute before, you might get one in, but you might not get the other order in. So that's why I said 2 minutes. But yeah, you're doing it as close as possible and as fast as go, right? Because everybody is not as, rapid with the click of the fingers. Now, the other thing that we've learned, Spiller, is you can also stack trades. So you may want to place, 1, 2, or 3 buys or sells, right? So then you might want to give those, 3 to 4 minutes, and you can play with it. Now, anytime you place a pending order, you can modify the entry point. So the goal is to have and then adjust the price, right? Because when you go in to set them, you got to enter all 3 things, right? So you can even enter them further away from the price. Yes, please, for the love of God, all things holy, and Creole baby Jesus, please, 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 please never attempt a market execution on a news event. I have a friend. She attempted to hit a market execution on a trade. Yes, Tina, absolutely. Always. So that's going to be a twofold answer, and I'll get right back to that. When you try to enter a market execution on a news event, you have to wait for the broker to fulfill the order. So if all these other orders came in as buy stops, they may get to your order very, very late. And oftentimes when they get to your order, it's not at the price that you thought you put in there. It's when they could afford to fulfill the order. And then usually that's at the very top of the wick, and then you are just melting because you are bleeding, okay, in a higher lot size. So please, I beg of you, with every ounce of my being, never, ever, ever, like I think I'm going to make pledge, will never, ever take a news trade by market execution and have people sign it, okay? Because it can get really that serious. You can absolutely blow an account. When you first get started trading the news, please put a take profit. Please. Now, me and another young lady named Cam, you may have seen me and her do a live on Thursday. We don't always put take profit, but we have been trading the news for quite some time. And typically, if I stack them, I usually put a take profit on all but one. I may run longer. Okay, so really decide on the money that you're trying to make so that you know the proper lot size to use and calculate your pips with that. 12 to 15 pips is usually safe. Now, disclaimer on that. In my personal experience, I have noticed that on AUD and NZD pairs, they can be a little hairy, especially NZD. Especially AUD dropped very well last week, but NZD pairs can be really funny style. I'm telling you from my personal experience, I only go for 8 pips on NZD pairs because they act really funny and the spreads get really wide. So to come back to Tina's question about deleting the one that does not activate. Yes, you're definitely going to delete the one that did not activate. Now, when you get really fly with it, you can go in and modify that sell stop and adjust it. So let's say that you did USD CAD on the CAD news on Friday, because I know that Tiffany did that. And let's say it hopped up in a buy. I believe it went about 30 pips. Is that right, Tiffany? About 30 pips. Anybody who's asking questions, they may be, it may only be going to all panelists instead of all panelists and attendees. Why you don't see it, Devondre? I believe it went up 30 pips or so, give or take. So let's say you had the buy stop and sell stop set. It hit your buy stop and buy stop for 10 pips or 15 pips. You done already took profit. You can go down to the 5-minute chart. It's hard for me to watch a 1-minute chart. You can go down to a 5-minute chart, modify that sell stop, because that news is just that. It's news. It's a spike. It's a very erroneous spike. The spike is going to return to the original. So you can catch it up and catch it down, but you can't leave your sell stop where it initially was, because remember, if price was at 1.90 and the news caused your buy stop to activate and the price went up 30 pips, if you leave your sell stop where it originally was, now it's 40 to 45 pips from the top of that candle. It's probably not going to go all the way back down to there, right? So if it does, you may again be in a negative. So you can modify your stop and bring it up into that candle for a wick fill. It's up and then it draws that long wick back down, or it shoots down and it draws that long wick back up. That is a little advanced. Just do the buy stop and sell stop to start. When you start to get a good handle on it, then go ahead and modify your other order and catch it up and down. Yes, Tiffany, catch it up and down. Now, I will tell you this. There are some people who only trade the news. They don't trade anything else. They set their weeks up, they set their month up based on news events, and they determine their, monthly income goal, and they execute accordingly. The news is a great way to build an account because you can look at a calendar and know when it's gonna happen. You can be very conservative and say, I'm only going for 5 pips, I'm only going for 10 pips, right? And then you could change that lot size, okay? And you could be making some change. I'm sorry, I'm reading y'all questions. Oh, okay, Tina. So on the news events, 10 to 12 pips above and below the current price on a 15-minute or 5-minute chart before the news event happens. So for example, the GBP red folder on Monday is at 4:30 a.m. So at 4:25, between 4:25 and 4:29, you may want to you'll want to set 10 to 12 pips above and below the current price. Then set your take profit for 10 to 15 pips. Okay, if you want to be super, super conservative, you could just do 5 pips. I promise you'll be out the trade in about 25 seconds, 30 seconds. It'll be done happen and closed. You didn't even see it. Tiffany, send me a private message and I'll see if there's a way for me to answer that on here. If not, I will answer that question once I stop the recording. Okay, so the first thing that you can do here on Forex Factory is you can make sure to set it to your time. Okay, so you see I just clicked on time options. Just waiting for it to load. Okay, and you can set your time correctly. Now, what it's telling me right now is that my time is not synchronized. And that's only because I'm in New York. My sister had a baby, and she's really my best friend, but everybody thinks that we are blood sisters. But she had her baby yesterday. He is very healthy. And so I came home for that, for her baby shower and for her to have the baby. But my computer is still set to Central Time. So that's why it's giving me this information right now in this yellow box. Okay, but I'm not going to change it on here because I'm heading back to New Orleans on Monday. But you see it says time zone. You just click the drop down and pick your time zone. Pick where you are, right? So that that time is right for you. It's daylight standard time, so that time is on. And I have it set to an AM PM time format. Some people only use military time for everything. You're more than welcome to adjust that to that 24-hour time format. And then you just click Save Settings. Okay, so let's go back to calendar. Now, the second thing you can do with your calendar, I just want to make sure I'm getting y'all questions. Tina, yes. Yes. And I think that's supposed to say 5 to 10. Only the 0 came up, but I know that you don't mean 0 pips. But yes. So the next thing you can do here on Forex Factory is you can filter your folders. If you see here in the upper right hand, I've highlighted filter. Your phone, it'll just show the little funnel like item. It won't show the word filter. But you just go ahead and click on it. And you see now expected impact. And it shows that all the folders are selected. Like I told you guys, I only, at all times, always trade the red folders. So I can turn all the other ones off. And I can click apply filter. If I wanted to remove, I told you I don't see, I could remove that as well if I wanted to. But I do look at all of them. So I'm going to click apply filter. And now you see it's just showing me the red folders. Now it just went back a week. And I'm going to click more so we can see this upcoming week. So on this upcoming week, we have quite a bit of news happening. Quite a bit. Do y'all see all those red folders? Do y'all see all this money on the screen? Can y'all see it? I just need y'all to understand how much money is sitting on the screen right now. That is money. M-O-N-E-Y. Cash, Gennaro. Dollar bills. Skrilla. Cheese, whatever you want to call it. All those red folders are money. There is some quick money to be made on those red folders. What I will tell you is the most volatile news events, CPI, PPI, CPI, PPI, FOMC, and NFP are the 4 major times that news moves. NFP just happened. FOMC is this coming Wednesday. I do not care where you are. what you are doing unless you are in the line of fire. Make yourself available for FOMC. We'll be grateful that you did. Okay. You can absolutely trade Euro USD. It's going to have the lowest spread of every FOMC right here. If you click on the detail folder, it'll pop open. Okay, and that's news from the Federal Reserve Commission. FOMC and NFP are the biggest news events to happen every month. Sometimes FOMC is in terms of which Wednesday it is, but it's always on Wednesday. NFP is always on a Friday, simply the first Friday and second Wednesday of the month. You can look back at the history. Right. This week is going to be no London breakout, please. This week you will trade the GBP news that's happening because there is GBP news every single day. Thank you, Tiffany, for highlighting that. Okay. So here, but you can see the notes, right? Right here it says, this report includes the FOMC's projection and economic growth. We know that inflation is the largest mover of the market. Inflation highlights a lot of things. If there's inflation in a currency, that also means that interest rates are going up. It also means that the value of that particular currency is going up. There's extreme economic strength. Sorry, guys, I didn't want y'all to have baby crying in the background of your recording. If there's no red folder, Tiffany, excuse me, Tina, I was going to call you Tiffany. You'll look at your chart. You look at your chart 15 minutes before, so 15 minutes before 2 um, Central Standard Time, 15 minutes before 3 Eastern Standard Time. You look at the previous, you look at the 1 hour chart, the previous 3 candles, and set your buy stop and your sell stop 10% below, 10 minutes above and below the wick. Okay, so then I was talking about FOMC, how inflation is your driver for everything in the market. If inflation is up, interest rates are up, the economy is doing better than a lot of other economies. And how you're looking at that. Trade balances. Trade balances are key. Why? Because if your exports exceed your imports, that's also good for your currency. It means that you are having more transactions with other countries and you are taking in more money. Okay. A great way to learn about some of these things in terms of the news and economics is putting the game Forex Hero on your phone. It has a trend predictor game, and you actually take, you're taking trades. Obviously not with real money. It would just be like using your. You can change your leverage up to 1/200 on the game. Okay, and it's going to give you economic and political statements and ask you what's going to happen to there. It is a great way to learn about the news. Okay, because whether you're right or you're wrong, when you scroll down past the little chart, tell you the reason why, and it's using real events with real dates from the past to test you. Excellent, excellent, excellent way to learn the impact of news. Now, trade balance. There we go. Said that CPI, PPI. I don't want that to go away. Crude oil. Crude oil is another big one. It happens every single Wednesday. It's going to tell you that it doesn't, there's not a consistent effect. I don't know why it says that. There's always an effect, good or bad, where there's absolutely always an effect. Oil and gold are of the same nature. They're commodities, so they do take up a larger amount of your leverage. So I'm going to ask that you do them on the lowest lot size possible. I will tell you that if you're using LMFX, the smallest lot that they allow on oil is $1. So if you do not have that type of account to handle that, don't trade that on LMFX. Trade it on FX Choice or Trader's Way, where you can go down to a 0.01 lot size. The other thing about it is, for every penny change, that's a pip movement for oil. So unlike Euro USD, where you have 3 digits and then a pipette. No, if oil is 62.10 and it moves up to 62.11, that was a 1 pip change for oil. Okay, so you can see significant movement, see a lot of money, but it will take up a lot of your leverage. So don't attempt to trade oil and then have like 7 other trades running. It will not work. If you look at the history, I'm sorry, you can see the previous, the forecast, and the actual. Yes, Tiffany. So I always go look at the spread, but Euro USD is always going to have the lowest spread of any pair because those $2 are the largest, have the largest volume worldwide. The US dollar, the euro, the yen, and the pound. They have the largest amount of dollars moving. So you can always trade Euro USD for USD news. Starting out, I would recommend Euro USD, GBP USD, USD JPY. Those would be the 3 that I would recommend picking one of those 3 for the news, for any US news. For pound news, I will tell you GBP JPY will have you on a roller coaster, a good one. I mean, when GBP JPY moves, it moves. Last Tuesday, it dropped 200 pips in about 3 hours. I was good for the week, but that's my pair. So I just want to touch on that really fast. Like, pick your pair. The only time I trade any or everything is a news event. Outside of news events, GBP JPY is my pair. That is bae. That is my boo. I can trade it at any time of day. I know how it moves. I know when it goes up. I know when it goes down. I know the hours it consolidates. Okay. So if Euro USD is your pair, you know your pair is going to move majorly during two times, during London and during the US sessions, right? It's not going to move that much during the Asian session. Why? Because there's no Asian currency in Euro USD, right? Not that it won't move at all, but it's just not going to move significantly. If NZD JPY is your pair, you know, Asian session is where it's at for you. That is when you're going to see a lot of movement for that pair because it's NZD, which is technically a Asian session pair, and JPY, which is an Asian session pair. Does that mean that it never moves other times? No. FOMC is going to cause everything to move, even though it's USD news. Whole market is going to just go berserko, even though that's US news. The entire market will move. Whole thing. Okay. Now, this past Friday, unemployment change and unemployment rate is what caused that CAD news. Okay. So that's what other people call it. They call it employment change, unemployment rate. For us in the US, it's NFP, which stands for non-farm payroll. That means of all the employed people outside of farmers, what is the employment rate for the country? If your employment rate is down, that's bad for your economy. If your employment is up, it's good for your economy. Of course, you can always see the notes here. It'll tell you actual greater than forecast is good for the currency. Here, the actual was worse than the forecast, significantly worse. So that move on Friday was beautiful. Okay, but you'll always know. Sometimes it's going to tell you actual less than forecast is good for the currency. It'll always give you that information if you click on the folder. Always. Just trying to make sure y'all don't have any other questions right here that I'm missing. Okay, the next thing I want to show you guys here on Forex Factory. Where's my graph? 1 second. My graph wasn't showing at the top of the calendar. Ah, there we go. Okay, you see how at the top it says scanner right here? Obviously the market is closed. This is why you see all the dashes here. But you'll see the bid price. It'll show you that chart. And you have the option of adjusting the time frame for the chart that is showing you and for the pip change. I really wish it was Monday, but let's see if we can go back here. So you get to the last 48 hours. It's not going to be as effective in showing you. What's today? It's Saturday, right? Yeah, why is it not showing me that? I don't know why it's not giving me that information since I changed it to the last 48 hours. It's kind of annoying. However, so I'll just tell you what happens here. Okay. In the middle of the night, I change it typically to the last 2 hours or last 60 minutes. When you're learning your pair, this is what you want to do. You want to be able to write down during the times that it should move, write down the pip change every hour. I guarantee it'll make your life easier. GBP JPY is my pair. That's what I said. So it's going to move the most during London and during the Asian session. I would say 80% of the trades I'm taking are during London. Very few during Asian session. I know, which is why the London breakout works. I know that from 2 to 7 a.m., my pair is going to move. So why fight and try to trade it all day? I don't. I go to bed. Sometimes y'all don't see me in the chat because I go to bed because I know that I'm going to get up at 2 and 3 a.m., set my pending orders, and go back to sleep. If my take profit hasn't been hit by 7 a.m., I may just close it manually. But once I felt I didn't have to do a lot of guessing. I didn't have to staying up or trying to trade it all day. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Euro USD was not my friend. I at one point did not have a handle on how it moved. It didn't matter to me. I would be like, oh, okay, it's gonna be a buy, and then a sell would happen. Me and Euro USD did not get along. Okay, like I used to tell people, if I saw Euro USD on the street, we would have been fighting. We would have been straight beefed out. Okay, not at all. Actually, me and gold became friends before me and Euro USD, and they have some correlation. But it was not working for me. It was not my friend. Okay, so know your pair. I mostly trade London breakout and news. Tina. Mostly London breakout and then news events. I don't do a lot of trading during the US session, to be honest. Now, Euro USD, GBP USD, AUD USD are great starter pairs. Amazing starter pairs. Amazing starter pairs. But I have just evolved from them. I just found where I was getting the best benefit for me personally. Great moves during London session. Kill zone times, 6 a.m., 5, 6 a.m. You can see some great movement right there in the transition before the overlap starts and all through London. Euro USD starts to consolidate during the afternoon because London closed. The US market is still open, but they're starting to wind down. So if you're trading Euro USD, 3 a.m. to 10 a.m., that's your time. That's going to be your most significant, movement. And so that's what I mean. Like, you just definitely want to see how your pair is trading. Let's look at it right here on this chart from June 8th. As soon as the afternoon happens, what happened? Nothing but consolidation. Nothing but consolidation in the afternoon. Where did the movement happen? 8 a.m. to 9:30. You could have, scalped these peaks here, right? Scalp that. But as soon as the afternoon happened, I'm telling the truth, as soon as the afternoon happened, what? Ranging market. Because London is closed when it's the afternoon for us here. Not as much people in the market, not as many market makers, not as much liquidity. You have to know the pair that you're trading and how it moves. Look at this hour chart. I mean, geez. So June 8th, June 7th, June 8th. June 8th, 2 a.m. to 6 a.m., 7 a.m. Kill zone time. Lots of pips to be made. It peaked at 118.09. Got down here to 117.27. Almost 100 pips. Almost 100 pips. 5 hours. You could have been done for the day. You could have not traded no more. Right? Done for the day. I don't know why it's not giving me 4 o'clock, but done for the day, right? Yes or yes. I just need to see if y'all are picking up what I'm putting down here. But I can't see the chat box anymore. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I need y'all to feel good when y'all trade. Like, I remember trying to trade everything because that's who I am. Like, I'm an analytical person. You know, if you ever learned the colors of people, I'm a green person. Like, I'm heavily green with some red, blue, and yellow in that order. I'll give you a quick synopsis right now, though. So, green people, they are analytical. They like research. They want the details. That's the person that when you show them opportunities, they're like, okay, what do you need to do? How many brokers do you need to have? How much money do you need to put in? How many days is it going to take? That's them. That's green people. They want all the facts, all the details, or they're not getting started. Okay? If you're a red person, red people are show me the money people. If you can't give me the bottom line in your elevator pitch, I don't want to do it. I need the money. Just the money. Don't care nothing about nothing else but the money. Okay? Blue people, those are your fun people. They like to party. They want to know what's happening with the money. When we getting on the yacht? When we going to the Bahamas? When we going on a bowling trip? When are we doing a sip and trade event, you know, at the loft on the rooftop? Like, they like to have fun. They're about the fun. Okay? And then yellow people, those are your tree huggers. Those kumbaya people. They're super team oriented. They're all about everybody all the time. Right? So there's strengths to each of them. And so everybody has some of each color, but there's a color that you are majority of the time. When you know how your pair moves, I like stops. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I prefer stops over limits. But what I will tell you is now, this is when going through your basics 1 through 4 and training that Dr. Spiller really comes in terms of using your RSI, your MFI. You can set limits for those things, right? So if you see that price is approaching where it would hit, where it would, Lord, train of thought, where it would hit the 70 or hit the 30, you might set limits at those points because you're expecting price to go up there, touch it, and turn around. But I personally prefer stops and market execution. I'm not a big limit girl. They work. They're just not my favorite. I love stops and then executions and then limits in that order. And that's just who I am. Some people only do market execution. Kim, the Forex chick, she does mostly market execution. She waits for price to reach her demand zones, break and retest, and she does market executions most of the time. And she is a swing trader. She trades on a higher time frame. Yes, I will absolutely post the recording. Trading on higher time frames. I will say this: I do use limits more on higher time frames than I do on a scalp. If I'm scalping, I'm doing executions and stops. But I spend most of my time on the 1 hour and 4 hour chart. No problem. Thank you so much for jumping on, Tina. We appreciate you. So you guys, I definitely want you guys to go ahead and take a look at that when it comes back on Monday, because I thought changing it to 48 hours would let me see what happened. earlier this week, and it wouldn't. It's not. But definitely go ahead and play with that when the market opens back up. If you see down here at the bottom too, it'll give you the sessions. It'll show you right on the screen your sessions. It'll show you when they're overlapping. Okay? NZDJPY, you want to trade it up in here. During the overlap of Sydney and Tokyo. Sydney is your AUD and your NZD pair. Tokyo is your yen. London, it's your pound, your euro. New York is going to be US dollar, Canadian. Did I miss any currency? Oh, Swiss franc. Your Swiss franc is going to be during London too. I knew I was missing something. Okay. Next thing I want to show you guys is, and let's see if I have it saved on this computer. I don't think I do. So we're just going to Google it. Your Uncle Google is your friend. So what we're looking at here is the open position ratio on Oanda. Now, Oanda is a U.S. broker. A lot of people don't particularly use them. The leverage is 150, 1 to 50. So a lot of people, the majority of brokers that we're using and that most people are using are international brokers. But you can absolutely use them if you choose. I know for me personally, I like to have a larger leverage. I mean, I look at it the same way I look at buying a house. You go buy a house, your house is worth, $250,000 and you showed up with 10% or 20%. If you did an FHA loan, you only showed up with 3%, but you have a large amount of leverage that you still were able to purchase that house. So having a larger amount of leverage can allow you to take some additional trades, but you still have to be responsible. You want your risk management to match your true balance, okay? Even though you have a lot of leverage, because what does that mean? That means you can take more trades. So maybe instead of 2, you can take 5 trades because you have a higher leverage, but I still want you to say, okay, well, my balance is only $200, so I'm not going to do higher than a 0.02 lot size, unless I'm trading a news event, which is when you're expecting a quick spike, up the lot size, because it's still a scalping situation. So if you see here on the open position ratio, it shows you long and shorts. Okay, it's going to show you some of the most popular pairs. I'm sorry if the screen is flicking fast. It's going to show you some of the most popular pairs. You can always hop on over here on news events. Let me copy it. One second. Where is this chat? I'm dropping it in the chat. Oh, attendees. Okay. You can save that, favorite it. Okay, so you can hop on over and look at this, 10 minutes before the news. This is updated every 20 minutes. But if you're like, I'm really not sure what pair I want to trade, you want to trade the ones that are at the top or at the bottom, where the ratio is uneven. This 50-50, 40-50, it may or may not move significantly in one direction or the other. But like this says GBP CHF, it shows that 80% of people are in a buy, where only 19% of people are in a sell. Okay, news is market maker activity. Most of the time, when this ratio is so uneven like this, a sell is going to happen to try to take some people out of their buys, hit stop losses, blow accounts before it continues in the buy, if that was already the trend that pair was on. Okay, same thing down here. Euro GBP, you see 37% of people are buying it, where 62% are selling it. So what will likely happen is it would shoot up into a buy for a news event and then return to the trend, okay, to stop some people out. Market activity is real. Market makers are real, okay, because banks, hedge funds, they have a lot more money in the market than we have. So it's not like, oh, they're making up some specific number, but they know that their goals are around rounded numbers. If you never heard anybody talk about rounded numbers, that's, 192.000, 192.5, 193.0, 193.5. Those rounded numbers. Most banks and hedge funds operate on those rounded numbers. They're not doing a lot of playing in the middle. They're going to take shorts at the top where you're going to think there's still going to be a buy, and they're going to take buys, longs at the bottom when you think that it's still going to sell. Okay, that's how banks and hedge funds stay profitable and stay open and stay ahead of the game, because we're just retail traders, especially when you're trading on lower time frames. Banks, they're not worried about quick day-to-day money. They will wait it out. And that's why we always say that patience pays profits. Sometimes you will have to wait it out. You will have to wait. Okay, and sometimes that waiting means holding a trade, okay, and getting comfortable with some of that drawdown. Other times waiting means just don't enter yet. Just wait. Okay, and then the last thing I'm going to show you guys tonight, and I'm going to let you guys go because I've been holding you guys hostage for about a little bit more than an hour. Oops. Is the currency strength meter, if you haven't seen it, and I'll drop it in the chat as well. Give me 1 second while it's loading. But the currency strength meter is going to show you just what it says, the strength of a given currency. The more bars it has, the stronger it is. This is an additional tool that we typically look at when we trade the news. So the way it's showing right now, it's showing that the Canadian dollar and the Norwegian krone have the highest strength right now. They have all 6 bars, right? So if you have all the way up to this top green one, it's the strongest that that currency can be. There is no bar higher than that. Okay, but we see that the US dollar and the Swiss franc are relatively weak. Sometimes it'll only show just a red bar. And I mean, that is when it is just completely just done for, just flat. Did it just make me click on that? It's just flat. Okay, so right now the Canadian dollar, the Norwegian krone are the highest strength, followed by the pound, the New Zealand dollar, and Australian dollar, then the euro and the yen, and then that's Danish. I don't remember what the KK is, but the Swiss franc and the US dollar, they're the weakest right now. So, for example, if it was 4:30 Monday morning and you were about to trade that pound news and you were looking at this here, I want somebody to tell me which pair they would trade. And I know there's not a whole bunch of us on right now still, but type in the chat what you would trade. And I'm also going to put this information in here. Tiffany said she would trade GBP CHF. Would you be buying it or selling it, Tiff? Yes, exactly. So if the pound is stronger than the Swiss franc, you're going to buy it. That's because CHF only has 2 bars. It's weaker. What pair would you not trade during that GBP news? What pair would you not trade? What pair would be consolidating during that GBP news? Don't worry, Devondre. I'm gonna go into some more details still. Anybody want to take a guess though on what pair would you not trade? What pair would be consolidating during that news? GBP NZD. Exactly. The pound and the New Zealand dollar have the same strength right now. So one can't overpower the other the way it's set right now. Now, what I will say is the news can change it. So post news, those bars could change. If the rate is significantly bad for the pound could get weaker. The pound could get significantly weaker. If that news was good, the pound may add on its last stars all the way to 6 in strength. But you want to stay away from things that are the same. Okay? Spreads, my goodness. So GBP AUD, GBP NZD, I probably wouldn't have attempted those. Now, changes all the time. Like literally. I can refresh the screen, it's going to change all the time, and definitely after a news event. If you were trading US news Monday morning, what pair would you trade? Which one would be the best one to trade? Anybody want to take a guess? If we were trading US news, what would be the best pair to trade based on what we see on the screen right now? USD, AUD, would you be buying it or selling it, Devondria? Yes, USD, CAD, even better. But what would you be doing, buying or selling? Yes. And see, Devondria, and you thought that you didn't understand what I was saying. But absolutely. The US dollar in this instance looks weak compared to everything except the CHF. So you would be expecting sales to happen. Now, what we don't do is only enter the sell stop. We always enter both. We enter the sell stop and the buy stop because these meters can change. But what I would not place an order for is USD CHF. And I really wouldn't even do USD JPY or Euro USD right now. I would do any of the other ones. GBP USD, AUD USD, NZD USD, or USD CAD. Those would be the ones that I would be looking at. I really wouldn't even be entertaining the other ones. And I'm not saying that they don't move at all, but I more than likely would be focused on those other 4 because of how significantly different the strength is between them and the US dollar. Now, again, just to recap, FOMC is Wednesday afternoon. I recommend trading Euro USD for FOMC. Last month for FOMC, I stacked Euro USD and I think I increased my account by 32%. Disclaimer, past profits don't guarantee future profits. Trading involves risk. Only trade what you're willing to lose. Use proper risk management. But when I tell you that you can take certain days and times and really grow your account to somewhere very comfortable, that you have a nice cushion, a nice amount of leverage in your account, the news can definitely do that for you. When I tell y'all, Cam had an amazing, super fantabulous Thursday and Friday. She was up significantly on Thursday, but she went to sleep and left the trades open to the point that she became a six-figure trader on Friday. Now, that takes patience, dedication, discipline, okay? But what I'm telling you is she started in January, learning the skill, going through the basics, going to different trainings. And in March 25th, she got really serious. She was like, I'm going to work a very specific plan. And I'm telling you, from March 25th to Friday, she became a six-figure trader. I'm not going to give you all the details, but just know that that is what? A little bit more than 2 months' time. Of course, not including weekends. That patience, persistence, and diligence brought somebody from 3 figures to 6 figures. So I'm saying that to say that it's possible for any and everyone with patience, persistence, and dedication. Yeah. Patience, persistence, and dedication. There is nothing that you can't get out of this market. And when people said it to me in the beginning, I didn't understand. When people said, if I need something, if I decide that I need something, I make a plan to get it out of the market. And you absolutely have that power, right? But that comes with belief and education, right? So if you say, you know what, I really have some things I have to take care of, right? Because you need to handle your business in the process. So you say, you know what, credit is not the best. I have some debts. I was unemployed at a period of time. I had some things that, got by the wayside. Put that in your plan. If $300 is going to improve if $3,000 is going to improve your credit, then that may need to be the goal, right? I'm so happy and grateful now that I've taken my trading education to the next level and earned $3,000 for the month of June, right? Because you have to be very clear, very definite, right? That definite a purpose, right? So now that you know what the goal is, then you can break it down over the 20 trading days. Okay, over these 20 trading days, you might want to make a little bit more than that. You may want to make a little cushion. So 3,000 is the goal. Let's use 2,000. It's a nice round number. 2,000, 20 trading days, $100 a day, right? If you say, I want to make $100 a day, then you know what? My pair is Euro USD. My pair moves between 2 a.m. and 7 a.m. It moves on average, I've seen over the past week, anywhere from 60 to 110 pips. Can I meet my goal? The answer is absolutely yes. Now it's up to you how many of those days you want to trade and at what lot size you want to trade. You might make the $500 that you need for that week in 2 days. You might make it in 1 day. You might be real conservative and make enough each of the 5 days. But that is a decision that you have to make, and it is your decision. But it's absolutely possible. Okay? So keep your plans very clear, very organized. I want everybody to let me know at the end of this week, when it completes next Friday, what your pair is and when your pair moves best. Not only just because of the session times I told you, but that you really have found out the hours that your pair moves, right? So once you've done that this week, I promise you, your account will grow at probably more than 10% a day, to be perfectly honest. Now, I never accept for myself less than 10% a day. But I'm telling you, once you really have honed in on that, more than likely you will see more than 10% growth, because you'll be very confident in the hours that you're trading. You will be comfortable with changing your lot sizes, and you will really be able to see what you need to see in your account, right? Because guess what? When your account is growing, your posture changes also, right? Because you get started because you wanted to learn this. Somebody shared it with you and you're like, oh my God, I want to learn how to grow my money. I want to employ my money, right? But you still have some fear and some doubt. It's something new to you. But if you're making money, even outside of the push 1000 signals, because you have taken the time to determine when your pair moves, your posture will change. Now, do I want everybody to learn how to invest and grow their money, whether it's Forex, futures, options, stocks, cryptocurrencies? Absolutely. But if they choose not to, my posture now says, I'll wait for you to get back to me. Because I'm not chasing you down. Because from 2 to 7 a.m. every day, Brianna makes her coins. Now, people are like, oh my God, you've been going on trips every month? Yeah, girl. Because I have that kind of free time. Because this is not just about the money. It's about the time freedom. If I can employ my money from anywhere in the world, as long as I have Wi-Fi, I can do just that, be anywhere in the world. But if I always, always, always have to work, and I need to pick up them extra hours at work, and I need the overtime from work, I will never be free. So it's really about the time. If your money is going to work for you, that you are seeing pillow profits, your posture changes at work and at home, right? Because there's not stress. You're not worried. You know the bills can get paid. Because that's why you had the job, because you wanted to pay the bills. But if you have that air that the bills can get paid, now you'd be working because you want to, not because you have to. Because there are people that love what they do, and that is a good thing. You want a nurse who loves what she does, because that compassion needs to run over to her patient. But if she's stressed and you got to see, if you're the doctor and you're like, I need to see all these patients because I need to be able to bill all these people because I got malpractice I got to pay, I got insurance I got to pay, I got my house, my car, my kids' tuition I got to pay. I promise you, those doctors don't take as much loving care as those who have investments. I was telling a young lady yesterday that the difference between a rich person and a broke person is a plan. Okay? You come up with a plan, you come up with a product, you come up with a patent, you've made something, you have this business, it makes money, and you're rich. But in the event that that business goes down, the patent doesn't go through, now you've lost that money and you're back to being a broke person. Okay? But if you became rich from a business, a plan, a patent, a strategy, and then when you saw profits from that, you invested that money, now you've become wealthy. Because no matter what, okay, that's including this business, no matter what, if IML was to go away, What made you rich was that you took the education. What make you wealthy is that you take the profits that you're earning from trading and you are dividing them and giving them other places to return you dividends. That's the key. That's paramount to everything we're doing. We are legacy wealth builders. No one company that you don't own is going to create your entire legacy. The investments and the dividends that are given to your family will create your legacy. So, y'all homework. Pick your pair. Find out your pair's hours. Report them back to me on Friday. Please, during this week, trade the pound during the news event, not the London breakout. I do not want people to be sad or be losing money. Okay. I will throw this here. If you decided that you were going to get in during the breakout time, set a take profit and get out before the news. I'd say 30 minutes before the news event, because the pair will start to consolidate rapidly before the news event happens, and then a spike will occur. Okay, that's for somebody who is interested in staying up, which means you got up at 1:45, you traded for 2.5 hours and closed that trade out, and then you set a new order for the news spike. Okay, so I did want to just put that disclaimer out there really fast. It has been my pleasure to serve you guys and the team tonight. Because I ended up starting in the car, it didn't stream in Facebook, so I will upload the recording as soon as it's finished loading. I won't be going out of the house anymore tonight, so I'll be right here stationary. So as soon as it's done, I can upload it to the Facebook group. I do hope that you guys really got a lot out of this, and we will continue to educate on new strategies, working some other things behind the scenes, including some cryptocurrency. And so stay tuned for that, you guys. I definitely appreciate you spending almost 2 hours with me today. And I look forward to training you guys on some additional things. So have a great evening. Spend time with your family and your loved ones. God bless you guys, and I will talk to you soon.